Trump's pick for Homeland Security Secretary, South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem, she faced some questions today from the Senate, and Noem did not shy away from criticizing the department. During her confirmation hearing, she called Homeland Security broken and dysfunctional. Noem promised to prioritize deporting illegal immigrants and to secure our country's borders. More cabinet picks were grilled by the Senate this week, including Pete Hegseth for Secretary of Defense and Pam Bondi for Attorney General. Rob Bluey, president and executive editor of the Daily Signal, joins us now to break this down and talk about this week's hearings. Rob, thank you for joining us this evening. Let me ask you first about Pete Hegseth. How do you think that his confirmation hearing went earlier this week? And do you think he'll get confirmed?
It's good to be with you, David. I think Pete Hegseth and all of the other nominees had an outstanding week. If I were Donald Trump at the end of this week and watching these Senate confirmation hearings, I'd be quite proud of the people that he has picked for these cabinet positions. In Pete Hegseth's case, this was the one that most people felt was the most susceptible to being defeated. And as we know, there is not a single Republican who has yet come out in opposition to Pete Hegseth. That's not to say he will get unanimous support among Republicans, but I do expect that he will be confirmed along with all of the other Trump nominees. I think that this is a good sign because, David, as you know as well as I do, he's going to need these individuals in these positions if he's going to enact his agenda.
Yeah, he absolutely does, and I love all of his picks. Rob, I want to share with you a clip of Hegseth discussing his vision for the DOD. Watch this.
When President Trump chose me for this position, the primary charge he gave me was to bring the warrior culture back to the Department of Defense. The Department of Defense under Donald Trump will achieve peace through strength. And in pursuing these America First national security goals will remain patriotically apolitical and stridently constitutional. Unlike the current administration, politics should play no part in military matters. We are not Republicans. We are not Democrats. We are American warriors. Our standards will be high, and they will be equal, not equitable. That's a very different word.
That is a very different word. I'm glad that he made that point very clear, and I love the fact that he said we're not Democrats and Republicans, we're Americans. Is that really that controversial to say that we want the same standards for everyone?
It shouldn't be controversial, but after the last 4 years, you would think that the government agencies were basically in the support of the Democratic Party. I mean, if you look at the weaponization of the Department of Justice, if you look at the woke ideology that has infected the Pentagon, those are refreshing words from Pete Hegseth. I think that the most important thing that Pete Hegseth can do is remove politics from that department. You have a situation there where Lloyd Austin, the current Secretary of Defense under Joe Biden, has issued an abortion travel memo, which was a highly controversial thing. He's made woke policies like diversity, equity, and inclusion the standard by which the Pentagon is operating. And as we've reported at the Daily Signal, this is having detrimental effects on military recruitment and the military's ability to protect the American people.
Yeah, it absolutely is. I think the best thing I love what he said is that we are warriors. We need that warrior spirit, warrior mentality back again. Homeland Security pick, Kristi Noem, she laid out her vision for the department. Take a listen.
We must secure our borders against illegal trafficking and immigration. We must safeguard our critical infrastructure to make sure that we're protected against cyber attacks, respond to natural disasters, and also terrorism. I firmly believe that we can meet those challenges head on with resolve. Innovation, we can use collaboration with federal and with state partners. And senators, I want your input. Border security must remain a top priority. As a nation, we have the right and the responsibility to secure our borders against those who would do us harm. And we must create a fair and a lawful immigration system that is efficient and is effective and that reflects our values.
You know, one thing that struck me this week with all these hearings was that we got to actually hear and a lot of people that sound like they had common sense. They weren't talking woke out of their side of their face with a bunch of nonsense. What experience do you think that Kristi Noem could bring to the table to help her reach her goals?
Well, Kristi Noem probably has one of the toughest jobs as a cabinet secretary to clean up the mess that Joe Biden has left her. Remember, it was day one of Joe Biden's administration when he undid all of the successful policies that Donald Trump had implemented. So on the one hand, Trump knows what is effective to get the job done, to seal the border and end this illegal immigration crisis in our country. But Kristi Noem is going to have to make sure that she has the resources. That's why it is incumbent upon Congress to give Tom Homan, Kristi Noem, and everybody else who's going to be working on Homeland Security the resources that they need to carry out the deportations, to make sure that they are securing the border once and for all. This is the issue that I think propelled Donald Trump to the White House for a second term. And I think Kristi Noem is going to be in a position where she can point to the successes. And that's not the only thing. She has the Secret Service to clean up. She has FEMA to clean up. So she's got a big portfolio.
She has a big job ahead, but I think that she's absolutely somebody that can get the job done. Rob Bluey, my brother, thanks for joining me this evening. I appreciate your insights.